Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, good morning, everyone. I'm up kind of late. It's just a weird morning. So, a lot of energies that are shifting. There's a lot of different things happening within that um, collective energy. So, what I picked up on is this has to do with this weird feeling after you know. Um, I guess maybe for some of us, we haven't really taken the time to allow ourselves to get to know what exactly is happening, right? We haven't allowed ourselves to have permission to explore some of the things, explore some of the things. And, it becomes a very uncomfortable experience when things that we didn't want to know are now things that we know. And it's not necessarily that you didn't want to know these things because you want to be kept in the dark or any of that. I think it's more having to do for some of us with like privacy type concerns, with uncomfortable topics, with just uh, a whole bunch of different things. And so now we're being faced with the reality of what's happening within our lives, within our space. um I'm just getting cards ready. I obviously don't have as much time today, so let me just get started. Ooh, death. The end of a cycle has come, the end of something. I'm even hearing like end of an era, the end of something has come about, and this is something we probably didn't want to know. You know what I mean? Like as we're going through things, like say for some, um, if your relationship is ending and you were counting on this to be lifelong, you don't really want to know that. You know what I mean? We kind of fight the progression of our lives. We fight the knowing of what's actually going on. And, that's a common thing to do. It's a form of avoidance, obviously. But how has avoidance served you? Now, for people who are super toxic, avoiding them absolutely will serve you. Outside of that application, how has avoidance helped you? Or has it? Has it helped you, or has it caused you to be, that much more in denial of what's going on with yourself in your life? Because if it's causing more problems, why are we continuing to apply that same type of approach to things that probably need to be addressed, right? So it's a weird feeling after after you get the confirmation that you need to make the decisions that need to be made. It's a really uncomfortable feeling. It's, now you can't convince yourself something is not what it actually is. Prosperity, you're going to be successful in whatever this is, whatever chaos, or not chaos, whatever situation this is. For many of us, it could absolutely be chaotic. This is what I was seeing and resonated with. It causes internal chaos. When we continue to avoid the things that need to be assessed by us, the things that need to be really, really addressed. The more you ignore that, the more chaotic you're going to feel inside. Okay. Oh, again, that upside down awakening. I feel like this ties into a realization that everything has been upside down this entire time. Everything has just really been not what you thought, not what you wanted. And all of this effort that you put into making something work that probably was never going to work to begin with. Thank you. all of that effort you put into making something work that wasn't supposed to work. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if you feel like you wasted your time, if like you feel less than 82% at 828, 82828. Ooh. The merger of self, all your fractals coming together. That's 8. Guiding you to a more deeper merger point, which is another 8, which guides you to the final point of merger. This is about retrieving all your truths that maybe other people are holding for you, truths that maybe you've been really trying to ignore, truths that are just difficult to process. Something has shifted, and it's almost this sense of like someone in your environment is now seriously listening and seriously considering what you're saying. Um, it's almost like you're finally being heard, finally being acknowledged. Huh? um, so Como has a name. um, okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Um, that's ridiculously beautiful. Hold on, let me look up the meaning of it. She told me her name. I want to know what energy that carries. Star of the sea, child of light from the higher tower. Ooh, woman from Magdala. Are you a Magdalene? Hold on. It's a blend of the names Maria and Magdalene to honor the biblical figure Mary Magdalene. What? Oh, shoot. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. That's super significant. So, her name is actually Marlene. She says, "Can you call me Marlene? I call you whatever you want. I call you Auntie." Her name is Marlene. Okay. So, introducing my new friend, Marlene. I know. My mom's name starts with an M as well. All right. Remembrance, this upside down remembering of whatever it is that needed to be remembered, right? Remembering things in a distorted way, remembering, are you even remembering? Are you even remembering? Are you like remembering things that you need to remember, or are you just simply focused on all the negative stuff, all this negativity that you've been through? Whatever it is that you focus on, that's what you're going to create for yourself. If you choose to focus on the negativity, you will continue to generate a negative charge, amplify that charge, and manifest that negativity. Being a positive person does not mean you're in denial of the reality of what you're living through. Being a positive person means that you can continue to move forward. You can acknowledge what's happened. You can move forward and you can allow that growth to continue. I don't know if this is right, but negativity means you're missing a charge. So, yeah. More protons and electrons for positivity. Mhm. Mhm. So more electrons and protons will have a negative charge. Mhm. Two objects that have an excess of one type of charge exert a force of repulsion on each other when relatively close to each other. Ooh, an excess of energy. Energy, emotion is energy. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. When two very strong-minded, strong-willed people, aka stubborn, when the two of them are together and no one wants to give, uh, that's going to create issues. It's been creating issues. That's the actual issue. It's not something outside of what's happening within that relationship. And Marlene. Marlene, auntie, stop it. um, she goes, it's time to stop blaming other people and other things for your own shortcomings. Ooh, if you're dealing with someone who's so insecure within themselves, whether it's at work, whether it's, relationship, friendship, whatever it is, when someone is insecure within themselves, they are lacking a sense of who they are. And sometimes what ends up happening with that, it ties into this need to control the people who do know who they are. Because when you can control someone, manipulate someone, who is powerful and you feel weak, it gives you a sense of power. And for some of you, this is what you're coming to the realization of. They're never going to change. They're going to always struggle with wanting to feel powerful. Like, look at their life history, the history that you know of. Is it a consistent? Oh, that's shit talking. Okay. I'm not saying this. Marlene is saying this. She's thinking out loud. She's like, if they have a history of being a weak person, why do you think you're going to make them strong? Look at their history. Has anything ever actually worked out? Or has it been one fumble after another? Has it? Has it been one like mess up, misstep after another? You can't love someone into wholeness. You just can't. You just can't. You can't love someone into this place of being whole and secure and solid within themselves. Either they're going to choose to do their work on themselves and understand their value, or they're not. And it's going to continue. They're going to continue to bleed all over you. And no matter how much you try and clean that up, it's just not going to be cleansed. That's a never ending pool of toxicity. I've dealt with people like that who have been so insecure that they've decided to use me as a benchmark for what they thought they could do, what they could achieve, and yada, yada, yada. And when they couldn't reach the level that they see me operating at, then came this need to try and tear me down. Was that issue mine, or did I get involved in that? Because I thought I thought I could love people into wholeness and that my encouragement, my support, all of that would, it would work. Oh, look at this. Look at this. One could have the purest intentions, but there are just some things that we can't and possibly shouldn't even try to do for others. She got me triggered. I do not F's with people who are insecure to that degree. People who feel the need to compare themselves to me, and like they got to keep watching what I'm doing so that they know how they're going to move forward. I'm good. I'm good. You can keep copying me if you want. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to play that stuff with you, because at the end of the day, what always ends up happening is, let me get really real right now. Most people are just dumb. They're just dumb. And that's messed up to say, but it's the reality of it. Most of us are emotionally dumb. We're dumbed down right from the start. We're not taught or encouraged to develop emotional intelligence. That's why it's so easy to manipulate people. That's why manipulators have such an easy time manipulating other people. We're just emotionally dumb. Are you satisfied with that? Or are you going to allow this to be that moment where you come to that realization of, hey, whoa, yo, I don't want to be emotionally dumb. Why do you need to involve yourself and save a grown adult from their emotional situation? Do you know how many times I've had grown adults go to other people, say all kind of things about me? For what? But they couldn't say it to me. And that was when I was a lot nicer than I am now. That was when I was a lot nicer. And they couldn't say it to me. Why? Because if they said it to me, they know damn well it's a lie. So instead, they go about with their lack of emotional intelligence and involve so many other people without giving the entire story. And here's the thing, you might be wondering, what's the solution for this? Leave them all the F alone. Leave them alone. Don't bother. Don't explain yourself. Don't try and, give them an opportunity to get to know you. When someone wants to get to know you, they will go out of their way to try and get to know you. Marlene says, some people even just quietly watch you for a while just to understand the inner machinations. I added that last part. She goes, some people even just watch you for a while. I've had people who have been watching for a while and they've never commented before. They've never interacted before because one thing or another led them to feel like maybe they shouldn't yet. Maybe, this or that. That's okay. What's important here is that you're taking the time to observe me and get to know the purity of me. Like, are my intentions pure? Do I make you feel uncomfortable because I'm too truthful or because you detect me lying? You know what I'm saying? So I have a deep appreciation for people who have the courage to quietly show up day in and day out and just watch and observe before they make a decision about me. At the end of the day, you're going to decide whatever you're going to decide, and I'm not going to be able to convince you otherwise. You're going to feel about me however you feel about me. I don't get a say in that. Even if I conduct myself as an extremely overly nice person, overly accommodating, what I have learned from my own life experience, that's a waste of time and energy. Now, if I want to be overly nice and over accommodating because that's just who I am, and I like to love on people and accommodate people, which that's who I am, that's one thing. But to try and amplify that characteristic so you can kind of earn your way into someone's good graces, how about F you and your grace? How about you wrap up your grace, duct tape that biznatch, and carry it with you as I kick you out of my life? How about that? I'm just saying. This is making my knee hurt. Hold on. Y'all, now I gotta put on my knee brace. I can't throw my pants. I don't mess with people like that. No more. You want to be insecure? Okay. You be insecure. You want to blame me for your insecurity? Okay. Blame me for your insecurity. I'm not going to have any participation in any of that. That's toxic. And I will not coddle your toxicity. I have my own toxicity to address. I have my own. Ooh. Is it the mean you that I reminded you of? Or is it the you that's not willing to compromise who you are and shut yourself down in order to accommodate people's toxicity? Because for a long time, I thought I was mean. I can be. I absolutely can be. All of us can be. We all have the capability. And I recognize now, like when I get mean, that's the part of me that loves me so much that it's not willing to start another cycle of WTF, why are you treating me this way? Because I don't deserve that. So if you have to have a perception of me being a mean person, if that perception, distorted as it is what's going to prevent you from carrying through with your toxic intentions towards me, then baby boo, I'm a mean ass motherfucker. I'm a mean motherfucker. Yes. Yes. I am mean AF. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And obviously that's not directed at you, Golden Apple. I'm just saying, I've gotten to the point where now I know where certain pathways will take me down in my life, my interactions with people. And there are certain avenues that are just there. They are one-way streets. I'm not going down that way. No, those are one-way streets. And I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I will only choose to be in interactions that are reciprocal. Okay? Now, if you approach me and I'm not reciprocating what you want, does that mean I have to be nasty? No. No, it doesn't. But do I have a right to begin making assumptions that are not based in anything outside of just like an avoidance? I need to avoid. No, that's not right as well. Okay. We have to allow ourselves to kind of have at least maybe one interaction so we can assess, like, is this healthy for me? Is this another of those toxic cycles? Is this something that, it's different? Maybe I knew it before, but it's different now. It's something else. See, here's the thing. For some situations, there are people involved, and one person will grow and the other people involved will not. Okay. And then there are other situations where there's a separation that occurs, right? A fracturing. And because of the pain of that, it triggers a process that causes both components to begin the process of learning. That trauma-induced accretion is one hell of a mofo. That's a trauma-induced accretion. What does that mean? I don't know if you'll find anything online because, I coined that term. Trauma-induced accretion, as defined by me, is when life circumstance, emotions, and adversity or trauma is used to trigger an etheric process. This etheric process is very similar to that of dun, 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 an adrenaline rush. But instead of your endocrine system being involved and you like pumping out all of these hormones and whatnot, and giving you that adrenaline rush, it's you surging a lot of frequency, hydroplasmic frequency, that liquid light juju. Okay. So you're starting to surge all of that. And depending on what your situation is before this starts, it can push through any blockages and barriers that exist. Sometimes, if you're already doing the work to balance yourself, that trauma-induced accretion can be the very thing that punches through the molecular compaction, that miasmic distortion that leads to and amplifies molecular compaction, the root causation of your aging and deterioration. So, what am I trying to get at? Leave that shit behind, baby boo. Just leave it. Leave it there on the floor. Someone else will pick it up. It's like we're in daycare right now. And if you don't want to play with that toy, you don't have to carry it around with you. That sounds... Oh. But seriously, like, I have so many kids, and I used to always take them to like the mommy and me classes, the mommy and me like gyms, and I'm totally like, I'm a mom before anything else. And that was one of the things, like, sometimes my kids would play with toys and they felt like they would have to carry it around, and it's like, honey, it doesn't belong to you. You leave it right there, or you put it back on the shelf where it belongs, leave it in the area where it belongs, and then allow someone else to enjoy that. Okay? You don't have to own everything in order to keep that happy moment with you. And that's another thing about relationships, whether they're familial, platonic, or romantic. Just because things are falling apart right now for whoever is having connections fall apart, that does not negate the good times you've spent together. It doesn't negate it. But on the flip side of things, the good times, the good history that you share does not now obligate you to continue down a toxic road. I feel like whoever's here and listening to this, it's almost this sense of, you already know what this is. You already know it's time. It's time to let go. It's time to move forward. It's time to just allow yourself to continue living again, to go back to this place of being actually alive instead of just, suspended in cycles, cyclical cycles of honeymoon, arguing. Like, I could not stay in a relationship, no matter what kind, if those were the cycles. I can't do that. I have to witness your growth. I have to witness how your presence, even your struggles, continues to grow me. If you're not going to grow me and all we do is argue and make up, I'm going to have to love you from afar. I'm going to have to go. I can't be in that. There is too much life inside me to ever be okay with agreeing to not fully live. There's just too much life inside me. And one of the things that I think about every once in a while, I don't want to one day wake up and be at an age where I find myself unable to take care of myself, unable to do what I need to do for my health and my happiness. And all that's left from that point forward in my life is to lay in bed and think of all the things I regret not doing, not experiencing, the places that I regret not having ever visited. I don't want to live like that. And I don't want to die like that either. If I'm going to live a long life, it's going to be a long life that's been lived. If I'm going to live a short life, it's going to be a short life that packed in that short period as much life as I possibly could. And if the environment I'm in is not conducive, supportive to living a full life, And that doesn't mean I have to go to all of these resorts and have these and try those drugs and yada, yada, yada. No, it means me feeling alive in that moment. And also me having periods where maybe I don't feel so vibrant. There was a song that my husband used to play when we first started dating. Vibrant thing. I want to be vibrant and vibrant. And I want my life to be defined by me. I want my definition of living to be the definition that's used whenever I feel the need to assess, am I really alive? I don't want my fears or insecurities to be the very thing that determines how unalive I feel. A couple years back, I made this decision to, like, random ass decision. Random decision. Yeah, no, I'm gonna totally go skydiving. I'm afraid of heights, by the way. I'm going to go skydiving. I'm not going to look up the company. I'm not going to look at their safety history. I'm not going to look at their insurance coverage. I'm not going to look at any of that. I'm going to just do it and have this intent. And maybe it's not going to be applicable to you guys, but this is how I live. This intention that if something is truly detrimental to me, if something is an experience, a situation that will actually irreparably harm me unnecessarily, it will not be allowed. And living in this way, has really begun to free me to actually truly live. Do you know what level of trust in self and in my intuition it took to actually do that? Because really, the day of, as we were driving, I went with someone. As we were driving, I began to realize, like, where are you going? Where are you going? That's the wrong right direction. Like, no, you're supposed to go over there. Turns out I booked it at a different place than what I thought. And then we got lost. And I've shared this story before. We got lost. And what happened? Turns out we weren't even on the schedule, despite the fact that I went ahead and paid the deposit to be put on the schedule. So the usual me, the fear-based me, would be like, oh my gosh, this is a sign. We're going to DIE if we jump. We're going to DIE. No. And I was like, you know what? No. Keep pushing. We're not forcing this. But I'm not going to be turned away because of my fear. So I'm just going to set that intention. If this is truly something dangerous, if I'm going to DIE from this experience, this little rickety plane will not be allowed to lift up off the ground. And it did. It went very high in the air. It went very, very high in the air. And as I was plummeting to the earth, I was just dangling from a parachute. It takes you about 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes to actually land on Earth again once you jump from a plane at that height. And in that time, I actually wasn't even afraid. I wasn't. It felt very at home in the sky. And I realized I'm not actually afraid of heights. I'm afraid of the small elevations in the smallness that I currently live. I'm afraid of getting on ladders, but I still get on ladders. What makes getting on a ladder feel so uncomfortably unstable? My fear. Because when I get afraid, I start to shake, and then the ladder is shaking. And the more it shakes, the more afraid I get. And the more afraid I get, the more it shakes. How does this apply to your life? You would think that if you're really afraid of heights, when you're way up, just came out of the airplane, that you'd be the most afraid. And that was when I was the most comfortable. The most comfortable. And I felt so at home that high. It's an unnatural level of altitude for a human being that has no wings and no actual natural ability to fly. It's a very unnatural thing. And I should have been afraid, but I wasn't. Because I belong at a place of such a high elevation. It's unnatural for the average human being. Is that the same for you? And this is not about me being better than anyone or anyone being worse than me. As that's not it at all. This is about positioning. Where do you serve your greatest good? There's this one card in the Rumi deck that I love, and it talks about, you being a candle in the hands of the master, and that it would be a waste of your light and your purpose to place you in places that obscure your light. So the only proper and logical thing to do is to put you on a platform that's elevated so that your light can be cast and spread as far as it possibly can to help those who are still lost find their path once again. So it's not about an elevation in my value in comparison to yours. It's about properly positioning myself to best serve my purpose in the most humblest way possible. Have you had this conversation with yourself? Have you allowed yourself to get very, very honest with you and have this conversation with you where you allow yourself the permission to be repositioned within your life, within your circles, all of these different positions that you hold without consciously realizing you hold these positions? Have you had this conversation? In many of my circles, my entire life, I would be the wallflower. I would be the one that was nice enough to hold up the walls. Yeah, I rarely talk in social situations. I rarely allow myself to interact with people beyond the very, very superficial level of, hi, how's your day? And I won't even tell you how my day is. All of the conversation will be based on you being asked questions. So you feel very welcomed and very valued. That's not my place. It's not my place anymore to be the quiet person who never shares my thoughts. There's a gravity to my thoughts that I personally need to begin appreciating and finding value in. And you guys greatly help me to redefine my perception of myself, not just with the nice things that you guys say and the ways in which you show me unconditional love and support, but by the ways in which you share with me how these perceptions that I have lead you to profound thoughts for yourself. It's not that I'm telling you what to think, how to think, when to think it. It's that, wow, how does this apply to my life? And then you begin that process of thinking for yourself. That is so powerful. That's powerful. And I'm realizing just because I still want to be the wallflower does not mean I have the right to, because I fully believe every single last one of us is a prayer made into flesh. That at some point during the course of human history, a living, breathing, sentient human being made a request and creation granted it. You are the solution for someone's problem, and they might not even exist anymore. It might have taken many generations and many comminglings of different genetic lineages different ancestries to culminate in you, but you are a prayer that was answered. It's a prayer that was spoken from a heart long before you were born. Long before you were born. So if you carry that type of gravity within you, ooh, Marlene. Marlene says, well, if you carry that type of gravity within you, why do you get so bothered when people orbit you? It's a gravitational pull. It's a natural orbiting. Celestial bodies. Celestial bodies versus artificial satellites. Yeah. I'm working on my level of comfort and acceptance in regards to people orbiting me, like just constantly revolving around me, not necessarily giving me everything I want, but that, like, ooh, it's a revolution. Oh, okay. This is a revolutionary moment. There's no reason to need to be threatened by the orbiting of the naturally occurring celestial bodies. It reminds me of the sun and the moon. Sun, solar energy, is masculine energy. It's positive charge. The moon is lunar energy, feminine energy. It's a negative charge. Positive and negative are not necessarily good and bad. It's about the distribution of the protons and the electrons. A higher level of electrons creates a higher level of oscillatory rate, higher frequency. Oh, so I'm being given this visual, right? The moon continues to just rotate around the earth. She's concerned with her daily earthbound existence, just rotating, rotating, rotating around the earth, right? And then the earth, with the moon rotating around it, rotates around the sun. And when you apply this to divine connections, whoever that sun is, it's this big ball of fiery energy that kind of just sits there, being what it is, as the moon continues to do her thing. At no point does the sun ever shame the moon. This waxing and waning. The sun only ever sees the moon in her fullness. It's a different perspective than the human one. The regular human with the regular connections will see these lunar goddesses in their life waxing and waning, going through periods of fullness, periods of depletion. But the sun never sees that. The sun only ever sees her completely full and radiant. And that's a very beautiful thing, to know that you exist as a moon for someone or the sun for someone, and that there is at least one person in this world, and you might not have met them yet. You might have, but there's at least one person in this world who you have that meaning for. They only ever see you in this fullness. And it's never this blinding type of luminosity. It's the most graceful, most full type of light. And then we come into this concept that most people want to be the sun, or they want to be the brightest. Yes. I don't know. I'm rather content being a moon. I'm rather content with that, because it's this gravity of when someone is at their darkest, that darkest night of the soul. Oh, how they long for you, how they look for you, how they seek you out. And if you are obscured by the clouds, the type of all-encompassing, completely consuming darkness that occurs, but the moment you peek out from behind the clouds, even in the darkest of nights, you can light everything up. Especially in the darkest of nights, you light everything up just by existing, just by witnessing you. Someone's dark night is a little less scary. Someone's dark night is a little less lonely. That is amazing. Amazing. That's powerful. Okay, again, homeland is upside down. The foundation is upside down. I keep turning these cards around and that keeps coming up upside down. This is telling me that for whoever these readings have been resonating for, everything's upside down at home. Either home within yourself or your environment, your home environment. Do something about it. Stop waiting for someone else to implement solutions they know nothing about. If they've been so concerned and so busy with trying to force you to comply with their game plan, they have no idea who you are, what you need, any of that. The masculine is upside down in his thoughts. This is a very difficult time. You know, can we quickly touch on this? People give men such a hard time. Okay? It's not just women, men also. If you allow yourself to behave in a way that showcases how much you appreciate someone, you're a simp. But if you then go to the other end of the spectrum and you don't express anything, oh my God, you're so insensitive. Can we stop telling men how to be and who to be, and instead hold space for them to be exactly as they are, so they can begin taking off the armor and assessing where the wounds are and begin healing those wounds? Men feel as deeply as women. They're just never given permission to. Can we stop with that? Can we allow ourselves to hold an equally sacred space for that masculine energy to correct itself, rebalance itself here on Earth? I mean, if a man is sensitive now, he's suddenly, oh, no, there's no way he can be heterosexual. Who said? Who said? And if a man is uncomfortable speaking his truth, but he lacks the capacity to hide it, to hide that he's struggling through something, oh, now he's shady and keeping secrets. Why don't, instead of doing that, why don't we begin to recognize that maybe they don't tell you things because you haven't created a space safe enough for them to feel like they can trust you enough to tell you things? Oh, no, we can't do that, because then it's like we have to take accountability for ourselves. At one point in my relationship, I realized a lot of the things that I perceived as like deal breaker type behavior, it was actually a way of coping with this fear of disappointing me. So when I recognized that, you know what? No, it's not because Geminis are liars. It's because I've been so harsh in my approach if he doesn't live in the way that I say we're supposed to live. That's on me. Like if I'm going to say, hey, we're going to eat nothing but organic food and everything has to be cooked at home. We're not going to eat out anymore. You're becoming vegan just like me. And he goes and eats McDonald's for lunch. Who's the liar there? Is there a liar there? Or is there someone who loves me to the degree that they want to be who they are, but they don't want to disappoint me. So now they're going to be who they are, and they're going to hide that they had McDonald's. Is that a one-sided thing? Or it's like, no, they're just a liar. Emmy, don't make excuses. No, I'm domineering. During that period, yeah, I was domineering. And the reason our connection has become as strong as it is now is because I realized this about myself. And I had to have a very real conversation with my husband. Like, listen, I'm going to be mad no matter what. I would rather be mad because you were a grown-ass man and told me, listen, hey, I'm going to eat whatever the F I want. Okay? You can be vegan all you want. I'm going to have me a burger. And I told them, would you rather I be upset? Because no matter what, right? I'm very opinionated. I'm going to be upset if you don't live exactly as I determined we should live. Wouldn't you rather I be upset because you held your ground and let me know, like, hey, you're kind of infringing on my right to choose for myself. Like, this is not hurting you. And I'll get over it. I'll have to do work on myself to get over that. Yep. And so now he do whatever the hell he want anyways. Yeah. He's always done whatever he wants. But now he's not like, oh, he's just going to be like, hey, I'm going to go to the store. There's this new toy out. He's a toy collector. There's a new action figure out. Okay. I guess if you want to. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And sometimes it's more than just, hey, I'm going to go to the store because this new figure is out. They have it in stock. It's like, hey, put your shoes on. Come with me. All right, fine. I'll come with you. You know, like we co-create a lot of the instability within our relationships. And don't even try and give me that, like, but no, you don't understand, Emmy, because this and this, and they're very toxic. Hey, you chose to be with them. If you identified them as very toxic, why are you still with them? Because you're going to change them? That in itself is also toxic. So how about it's a reflectivity between the toxicity both of you have? Oh, no, we can't have that, because then it causes you to take accountability for the ways in which you co-create the situation. You're co-creating. I'm not saying you deserve it. Okay. There's a huge difference between this subconscious process that's going on that leads you to choose cognitively decisions that lead to perpetuation of toxicity. But the moment you become aware that it's a toxic thing, cognitively aware, consciously aware, and you stay, you're co-creating that. Again, has nothing to do with me feeling or thinking that you deserve that. No, you don't deserve that. But why don't you believe that for yourself? See, what I've learned for myself, if I feel like I don't deserve to be treated the way this environment is treating me, I am out. Y'all witnessed this yesterday. There was someone who was triggering memories of the past. And it's like, whoa, what's going on with me? What's going on with me? What is this about? Like, I had to assess that while I was live. And I determined, I don't believe what you're saying. I don't believe what you're saying at all. At all. I am not going to put myself out there. I am not going to help you if you are coming around here expecting the same cycles to be repeated from when I was there. That girl that I was, she's gone. She no longer exists. And it's not that I went to the other end of the spectrum. It's that I found my center point. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I was very clear, like, I'm not going to ban you yet. I'll tolerate you being here, because that then leaves this opportunity for me to see, am I accurate in what I'm seeing? But I'm not going to interact with you. I'm not going to give you things the way I used to give people things and overgive. And no, I'm going to allow you to share space with me. I will tolerate your presence until I determine for myself if I'm just triggered by the past and you representing that past, or if it's accurate, you still there. And honestly, in that exchange, I determined I'm not tripping. I determined I'm not tripping at all. I'm not. I'm not tripping. No, I'm accurate in my assessments. Marlene says she likes it. Hold on. Oh my God. I hurt my neck. Hold on, you guys. Oh my God. I popped my neck out of place. I'm just so painfully sassy. So spicy. Okay. Fire, passion. Allowing yourself to become passionate about the things that actually make you feel passionate. Stop trying to downplay how you feel about certain things. I'm talking about the way you feel disappointed by certain connections and the way you feel very inspired and made to feel alive by other connections. Okay? Really assess where you need to be within your life, please. Hex banishment. You just need to banish certain people. You just need to banish the beesies. We need a BB over here, please. Banish the BBs. Ooh. Oh. Oof. Just found out the truth that I was right all along. 7 years of gaslighting, and I participated in because that reading that delusion. Oh, and because reading that delusion. Co-created. Oh, participated in co-creating that delusion. I'm sorry. I was trying to make sense of it. So just found out the truth that I was right all along. 7 years of gaslighting, and I participated in co-creating that delusion. Now, we're taking accountability, but we're not allowing accountability to force us to enter into a place of blaming. Okay? There's no need to blame. In order to blame, you have to first identify as a victim. Someone has to be the victim, and then another person in that co-created reality has to be the aggressor, the monster. So what does that mean? That means it's just another cycle of the same old stuff. There's no need to blame yourself. Just recognizing the decisions you made, the behaviors, the different types of things you tolerated that, you knew what was going on. So when you feel that again, you can begin, okay, I'm good off this. I don't need to experience it a second, third, fourth time. It's about learning and applying what you learned in future situations, future co-created connections. Okay. We can't allow ourselves to simply experience things and not do anything with what we've learned. Many of us who experience toxic things from toxic people, what we end up doing is becoming so just like traumatized by what we experience that we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to address it. We don't want to look back and see it. It's painful. It's understandable to not want to. Like, seriously, it's painful. It traumatized you. Don't let it keep traumatizing you by not learning from it. Until we can hold ourselves accountable to the degree that we can take a look back after we've exited the situation. If we can look back and see the different patterns that was already showing us what we were participating in, what we were co-creating, what we were allowing, enabling, then we can begin understanding like, okay, when I feel like this, because they're acting like that specifically, red flag. No, 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 no. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to bond with you. I'm not going to trust you. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to just move forward. Oh, see, High Priestess, responsibility, it's in reverse. Whoever's being dealt with is not taking responsibility. Ooh, that's one hell of a message. Okay. Marlene says, and Michael's over here like fiery. Marlene says, be careful of the people who refuse to take, I'm paraphrasing, be careful of the people who refuse to take accountability to the degree that they would actually try or pay someone to hex you, to do malignant magic on you. Hmm. You are protected, but the concept of being protected, it has to go beyond just being a concept. You actually have to allow that protection in. Okay. You have to allow that protection in. You have to get out of your own way and allow your spiritual team to protect you, defend you. So this seems like this is someone who, this is like an embittered person, probably an embittered woman, because it's a high priestess. High priestess, see, embittered woman, right? Someone who can't take accountability for the ways in which their behavior is actually what caused the erosion of that connection. I mean, this is someone who can't take rejection. I mean, let me just be catty for a second. Honey, you've been rejected so many effing times. Like, what is the big deal at this point? That's what you know. So why are you tripping? Marlene is like, just be catty. Why you keep blaming everyone else? I don't know who I'm addressing, but I don't know who I'm addressing, but it's like for the people who are like, no, I need to blah, blah, blah. No, you're the problem. You're the problem. You are the problem in your life. Trying to hold on to someone who doesn't want you to the degree that you're going to do or pay someone. All that time, energy, and resource that you're using to try and punish someone who's, that's why you lack the growth you need to get out of the situation you're in. That's why you keep repeating these same damn patterns. Yeah. This is probably someone who's going to be an overgiver. This is someone who's probably going to like classify you as family just so you feel obligated to do family stuff. This is someone who's going to bond with the people that you are close with just so they can get a foothold in your life. A foothold in your life. So if you ever begin to think or feel that this person should not be a part of your life, oh, they got you. They got your entire support system. And they're going to use that entire support system to make you feel obligated to continue this connection. One of the things that I love the most about my husband, he just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. He's just like, oh, fuck that person. Total Gemini. Yeah. And I'm like, but no, this, and this. He's like, nah, fuck him. But you're gonna, no, just fuck him. And that's just that. He's not going to try and explain anything. He's not going to try and rationalize with me. And the fact that he doesn't do this with everyone, that's going to tell me like, oh, sayonara. Sayonara. I'm out. Literally. When the people who never tell you how to think, how to feel, who to connect with, who not to connect with, suddenly have something to say. Mm-hmm. The home is upside down. The foundation in the home is upside down. These two cards keep coming up in reverse. Ooh. That's a very valid point. So Marlene's having like this conversation with me. If the home was built on the premise of you doing what you are told, you trying to anticipate, and you are the household, you know what I mean? Like they really play the damsel in distress card. Is that really a home or is that a lean-to? Ooh, Marlene. Okay. Is that a home or is that a lean-to? You're over here trying to build an actual homestead, and this person is constructing a lean-to, and you are the only structural support that's there. They're not doing their part. They're not doing their part in creating a long-lasting connection that's healthy for everyone involved. I couldn't be in that type of connection where you're not equally strong. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't force myself to do something like that where I have to carry everything and you simply need to play the role of something so I can fill a role of something else. And that's my part in your life. No, I'm good off that. I'm so good off that. For real. Mm-hmm. Try searching to get more inspiration. Oh, try searching to get more inspiration. You're not going to be inspired to truly live to your greatest potentiality in that connection. Whoever's resonating with this, you're just not. You're biding your time there. Eventually, it's just, yeah, eventually. Concealment. I mean, you can't even hide this from yourself at this point. You know what this connection is. Now, am I saying you need to leave right now today? No. No one gets to tell you the details of how you're going to live your life. But these are probably things that you need to hear to further confirm what you've already been suspecting, feeling, thinking, knowing. There's this thing. Hold on. Let me put this one. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. It says, if you have a feeling that's telling you to do something, but you're seeking a sign outside of you to confirm the intuitive feeling, the intuitive feeling is the sign. You're not looking for a sign, you're looking for the courage to follow your intuition. Let me read that again. If you have a feeling that's telling you to do something, but you're seeking a sign outside of you to confirm the intuitive feeling is the sign. You're not looking for a sign, you're looking for the courage to follow your intuition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Marlene says, I raised you better than that. And it's a statement that obviously, like, sometimes it, if it comes from a parental figure, then it's like, they're raising you from childhood. But she's not my parental figure. So I interpret that, I receive that as a different message, which is, I raised you better than that. I lifted you up and placed you on this position of elevation to have a better purpose than just that, a better experience than just that. It could mean so many different things to so many different people, you know? And what matters is the way in which you receive it, because that's the way in which your soul intended the message to be. Someone's intentions are upside down. They're not intending to grow something with you. They're intending to find a way to cripple you from leaving. This can be true for a woman and a man. Men are not the only toxic people in relationships. Sometimes it's the woman. Sometimes it's both. Someone is thinking like, how did I do this to myself? Why did I pick this? Why did I stay so long? Okay. I'm not trying to absolve you of your accountability, but I'm going to try my best to help you understand the answer. When toxicity is how we grew up, and toxicity is all we know, and toxicity is what our programs run on, sometimes we will look for people who reflect the toxicity and toxic environment we grew up in, so we could continue the cycles that we know. If this is all we know, how do we choose differently? You tend to not. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're here sharing space with me. Neurotypical people cannot stand me. I'm too truthful. I'm too passionate. I'm too intense. They have no idea what the F I'm talking about. They have a completely different logic, mindset, school of thought, however you want to put it. They cannot vibe with me. Like, why can't I just chill out so everyone can get along? Because we're not here to get along. We're not here to fight either. We're here to create connections and situations that will cause us to choose to rise higher. The fact that you're here with me right now tells me you are not neurotypical. That tells me you are now being positioned to be aware of what you have been choosing for yourself so that you can choose differently. Not to shame you, not to show you how you've been messing up and this is your fault and you've allowed it and you're weak and all of these other really toxic things we tell ourselves to continue to perpetuate the self-blaming and self-hate. No, you're here to know more so you can do more. More to empower yourself and your entire environment. And sometimes the only way to empower your entire environment is to liberate yourself from it. Especially if there's children involved. When there's children involved, you are teaching them what they deserve in connections as adults. That's what you're teaching them. Whether it's a son or a daughter, it really doesn't matter. You're teaching them what to tolerate. You're teaching them not how to self-love and self-heal, but to perpetuate the ancestral wounds that caused you to believe this is all you deserve. There was this thing that my mom used to say when I was younger. Third world country, right? If something bad happens, well, that's just life. And I used to get really mad. Well, that's just life. Pray on it. I don't have time to pray because I'm putting all my energy and effort into changing that. Why are you always fighting? Because I'm not going to give in to that. I'm just not. You're always mad. Why aren't you mad? Why aren't you mad? Because that's life. Maybe for you, but not for me. And that's the beautiful thing about what I witnessed, what I lived through. I used to think that I'm such a different person from my mother, and that was like a superpower. And it's like, no. How powerful is my mother actually to be able to consciously choose all the situations that we lived through together, to agree to that on a soul level, and honor that agreement in human form so that I could learn everything I needed to learn to become all the potentialities she didn't tap into because she held it for me, to gift it to me. I no longer see my mother as this woman who was weak and mm-mm. I'm still in the process of really beginning to dive deep into all of the things that she taught me without intending to. Mm. Powerful. Powerful. It's such a powerful experience when you can release all of those pre-programmed expectations and outcomes and all of these different like really discouraging things. We really don't understand why we have the parents we have until after we allow ourselves to look back and look at all the experiences and how those experiences have helped us. There was nothing weak about my mom. Did I agree with a lot of the things she did? Not really. And is it possible that it's because of witnessing the things that she went through and things she decided that I was gifted with an opportunity to choose differently, to become aware that there was a different option, a different choice, because I was so averse to the choice she selected? It's beautiful. It's beautiful to finally reach a point where I can give my mother the type of credit and acknowledgement she deserves. She is the mother I needed even when I didn't understand. Even when I didn't understand. That's a beautiful thing. That's a very, very beautiful thing. To be able to recognize people's place in your life, the gravity of how their decisions help to cultivate your future ones. At this point, I will only ever see her as one of the most powerful women I will ever know in this entire lifetime. Not powerful in the conventional sense that society has defined, powerful in the sense that actually matters. In the face of everything, she kept her softness and her grace. Oh, yeah. That alone tells me no matter what happens to me in life, no matter what I go through, I can be just as strong as her and choose to remain soft, loving, compassionate. It's like a beautiful thing. It's a very, very beautiful, beautiful thing to see the full truth and gravity of the importance of her in my life. Mm, mm, mm. Shadow. It's upside down. Your perception of yourself and your strength is upside down. All the things, that matter the most important parts of you, they're hidden in your shadows. Okay. Those are the things that you need to really allow yourself to tap into, be aware of, all of that. So you have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself, okay? Trust everything that you've witnessed and the way what you've witnessed has affected you, has caused you to feel and think. If you witness someone and you're afraid of them, it's for a reason. One of two reasons. Either you're afraid of the power that you see them harnessing, and it has nothing to do with their integrity, or you've witnessed how they can harness such toxicity in the most toxic way possible. Determine which one it is for you, okay? Card number 11, diving for light, going deep within yourself to retrieve the truths that already exist within you. Your destiny is already inside you. It's just the process of you shedding the layers that have concealed what this destiny is. In the world, not of the world. It's in reverse. That means you're failing to realize how magical you actually are. Magical to the degree that now someone's obsessed with you. Magical to the degree that this person who you are probably in the process of trying to walk away from is willing to hobble you, much like the movie Misery. They're going to try and cripple you so that you can't leave. I don't know, for me personally, even if both legs were broken, I'd drag myself out of there. And if I couldn't physically leave, I'm mentally checked out. You will not have the greatest parts of me. You will not have my heart. You will not have my mind. Best case scenario for something like that, if I'm stuck, maybe the body is stuck, but not the mind or the heart. It's going to move forward without you. It's going to leave you behind. You don't deserve the honor of access to something so sacred as my mind or my heart. And that's just that. But if that's the case, I'm rebellious to a to a fault. You don't get the body either. Did you think I was just going to stay? Psst, get out of here. I'm not going to stay in that crap. Card number 36, listening for truth. You already heard the truth. It's your intuition talking to you. You already heard it. You know what it's saying. You know what it's instructing. Marlene says there's even more than just intuition talking to you. You need to start listening. She said that. There's more than intuition talking to you. You need to start listening. And then she says, be stubborn in the right way for the right things, which I agree. If you're going to be stubborn in a way that grows you in the most compassionate way possible. There are some people who stay in relationships just because someone told them, like, I told you it wasn't going to work, and now you got to prove that you can make it work. But is it working? And just because you're hiding it from other people does not mean it's working. Card number 23, defend to the end the worthwhile. Sometimes the most powerful way to defend yourself is to not be accessible. You know, and we have to allow ourselves to recognize that the most toxic people, in order for them to continue to access your life in the most horrible way possible and get their way, is by accessing you directly or accessing the people who have access to you. When I went through a really difficult period in my life, right? When everything kind of just like began falling apart with social circles, I made a decision, and a lot of people didn't understand it, and they were very upset. They saw me as being a total bitch because although they were not part of the attempts to literally harm me, they were still seated at tables that were being provided and food placed on by the people who did want to harm me. If you can hold the company of someone who dislikes me to the degree that they can plan and plot to harm me, we don't need to be friends. You've made your decision, stick there. And people didn't like that. They were like, that is just so immature. What's immature? I know who I am. If I love someone to that degree, I am going to protect them so savagely and viciously. You say something about someone I don't want to hurt, someone that I hold to a very high degree, you're out of my life. You're out of my, nope. Because my logic, if you can do that to that person, and I don't just like people, okay? You have to be a certain type of person to me for me to be like, oh my God, I got to protect you at all costs. I love you to the degree that I would go to war for you. You're amazing. You have to have a certain level of integrity. for me to even begin considering loving you to that degree. And then it's this thing of, well, okay, maybe you guys had issues. What did I witness? Difference of opinion. Difference of opinion doesn't require you to be attacking someone. Yet here you are. Okay, you're out, because what's going to stop you from doing that to me? Because the people that I really adore, they tend to be people who are reflections of parts of me that I'm still too afraid to love on. So what's going to stop you from now turning your attention to me and doing that to me? I'm good. If you can still continue to hold the company of people who behave in that way, because I know myself, I never start shit. I was considering starting shit the other day. Let me just hold myself accountable. I was gonna totally start some shit yesterday. I came across old screenshots. And I was gonna be like, oh, I just need to forward this. Like silently slide it into someone's DM, like, hey, if you want to talk, let me know. I was going to. And then I was like, bitch, you ain't got time for that shit. Stop that shit. Just stop that shit. So I didn't. And I was just like, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Lauryn Hill has an amazing song. Let me find it. Let me find the song. Here. Wait, what? It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Okay, this song, I vibe with it so deep. It's funny how money changes situation. Miscommunication leads to complication. My emancipation don't fit your equation. I was on the humble, you on every station. um, let's see. Let's see, where is it? Okay. Okay. Now you want to ball over separation, tarnish my image in the conversation. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. You might win some, but you just lost one. You might win some, but you just lost one. Now, how come your talk turned cold? Gain the whole world for the price of your soul. Mm-hmm. Trying to grab hold of what you can't control. Now you're all floss. What a sight to behold. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. I was hopeless and now I'm on Hope Road. Like, it's called Lost Ones by Lauryn Hill. Like, for real. If you want to do that to me, then you just paid the price of losing me. That's the price you paid. If you're willing to pay that price, by all means. But you can't get a refund on that transaction. This is not a situationship. See, and that's the thing with people. That's the thing. Are you in a situationship? A situationship with someone platonic, with someone romantic, with someone who is a business associate? I've been in so many situationships with friends and business partners, business associates. Fuck that shit already. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. You either naturally embody the same level of authenticity and integrity that I operate at, or we're good. You're out. Actually, no, you're not out. You were never in, if we're going to be accurate. Card number 7, Legacy of Light. You come from a legacy of light. You come from this entire lineage of the most evolved souls. Start acting like it. Make decisions like it. Card number 1, After the Storm. Sometimes it's hard to drive through a storm. Okay, take shelter when the storm is done, then start driving. That storm is clearing the way for you. Card number 42, the word wants to be written. So it's in reverse. So there's a communication wanting to take place, but you're afraid. I get it. I get it. You're afraid. Are you going to let your fear cripple you? Or are you going to do what you need to do? Are you going to finally grow beyond the limitations that you keep setting for yourself out of fear of rejection? When you don't try, you've guaranteed rejection. You've just rejected the potentiality that would have been something that's potential had you tried. It's up to you, though. Softly, softly, the tender touch, and yelling at yourself about this fear you have of connecting, of reaching out, that's not going to help you. Stop it. Stop being mean to yourself just because you're afraid. Make a decision, even in the presence of that fear. Reach out for the potentialities you know exist, but are afraid of what that potentiality might mean. Card number 22, she feels, she knows. I think if this is a third party circumstance for you, I think everyone involved feels and knows what's going on. I think it's safe to say that. Everyone involved feels and knows what's going on. So, might as well just like push on through. Card number 39, free from judgment, free to love. Anyone who tells you loving them comes at the cost of not loving yourself is someone who is very poisonous to you. Yes. Como says, show this. I'm sorry, Marlene. Exhaust the potential. Exhaust the potential. Allow yourself to exhaust all these different potentialities. Put them into play. Really try them out. Card number 17, what is already with you? The answers, the way, the solution, that's already been with you. It's already been with you. So if it's already been with you, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? All right, let me pull something from here. Read you a little bit of poetry. I got a few minutes and then I gotta go. Ooh. So this is not the card, but I opened the book and I was told to look down. Beyond the threshold of fear. Enter the lion's jungle. Don't think about getting hurt. Fearful thoughts are phantoms of the mind. No one is harmed in this jungle. Everything is compassion and love. It is your fear holding you back like a bar behind the door. Ooh-wee. All right, here's the card. Card number 26, Al-Uzza, Star of Venus. I am the pure light, my son. I'm not a handful of worthless dust. I'm not just an empty shell. I'm a regal pearl formed in this world. Close your eyes to see and become aware of me. Oh my God. Sorry. Close your eyes to see and become aware of me. Perceive me with eyes that see the unseen. Come into the mystery to find me. I am a carefree visitor here for you. Oh, my beautiful one, born of pure radiance, you have love in your heart and a passion for play that cannot be dulled by bleakness, boredom, or fear. Your soul is sensual and dances with life with utter abandonment and devotion. Though the ways of this world seem strange to you at times, you eventually declare it to be nothing but strange beauty and expand your heart, resisting nothing to allow all to be bathed in the radiance of your being. You are here to share the light of another world, a blessed world of consciousness pure and divinity so absolute that it transcends duality and instead brings all into the oneness of the greatest love. The star of Venus is a great androgen, neither solely masculine nor feminine, but an integration of both. The power it bestows is mighty and based utterly in love. When this star seeks us out, multiple blessings are bestowed and our spiritual growth can be accelerated in ways that may be quite dazzling and surprising to our more limited mindset and belief systems. With great blessings, great growth is possible. However, the blessings don't do the growth for us, making it magically happen. They give us the oomph we need, the power and the opportunities and assistance we need. Yet it is still we who take the journey. The great spiritual journey for for old souls at this time in Earth's history is a journey from duality into oneness. Many are signing up for that wild, loving adventure. This oracle has come to you as a reminder that you too have been granted a ticket for that journey. This journey of oneness is not about denying duality, but about experiencing it as an expression of one love. It's about no longer being enslaved by it. It's about avoiding what is not wanted in order to pursue what is wanted. It is about embracing the all, of finding the freedom and joy originally sought, but now through a path that takes you into joy and freedom existing within. Ooh. Wow, this is long. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm sorry. My sessions are about to start. You have to make sure you decide things for yourself and allow yourself to truly see the situation that you're in. Your unhappiness is too high a price to pay for someone else's comfort in their place of toxicity. I promise you, there are people who would not ask you to pay a single dime to be loved by them. They would ask for nothing in return but the honor of being in your presence. Those are your people. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and join me when I'm live. I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye, everyone.